Going on. Oh, finally! Hola, Alicante! I'm super happy to be here. Last year as just an attendee, this year as a speaker. And when the React Alicante team sent me this slide in email, they said, oh, this is your cover slide for a presentation. It has the talk title, your name, and everything else. I thought, oh, that's really convenient because my original, so, you know, one of my first jobs was, I was a print designer. I was drawing and illustrating postcards and posters. And I thought, what if, for this talk in Alicante, I will draw all my slides by hand? And so, you know, otherwise you're going to be stuck with something like this for the remainder of the talk. And actually, you know what? I've decided to commit to that, and I'm still going to do it. This is actually a really accurate representation of what happened to my hands. Right. What was it about? Oh, right. Pet projects. There's probably hundreds of thousands of different talks and articles about why you should or should not have your different pet projects. And frankly, I'm not even going to talk about this. Instead, I will tell a small story. I had an idea once. Bear with me, like everything's going to be really ugly and shitty. But that's how I draw with broken hands. Right. I had an idea once. And probably one of my favorite pieces of software in the world is Chrome Developer Tools Debugger. I really like it. I use it a lot. I debug a lot of code, and I thought, I kind of want to have a dedicated, separate device that would control different aspects of Chrome Developer Tools. Like, I would pull a big industrial lever to refresh the cage. I would use the big, like, mash the big buttons to step in and out of functions. Just for the reference, this is the stuff I wanted to use. It would sit on my desk, and that's what I would use to control Chrome Developer Tools. I was really into this project. I was like, okay, before I commit to buying something, let's first build proof of concept. So I thought, okay, I'll have a Chrome extension there is a web serial API that would talk to a microcontroller of some sorts, and then, you know, speak with the hardware. And I was like, oh, actually, I cannot use serial API when the JavaScript is paused to control the debugger. So I was like, okay, iteration number 2, I'll have a browser that would use Chrome Developer Tools protocol. This is something that tools like Cypress or Puppeteer use that will talk to a node microservice that would then use serial API to talk to Arduino that would talk to the hardware. And, you know, I just got completely lost in all this. It did kind of work, but it was frankly too much for me to handle. And I just forgot about this project for probably 2 years. But then, 2 years later, I was browsing local, you know, kind of a Polish Craigslist, so to say, and I found this, which is actually right here. And some people told me that the size of the stick is exaggerated on this picture, and I don't know what's that about. Anyway, so when I just got it, my idea was to take this and replace all the brains that are inside with something I can control directly. But when I opened it up and I saw the beautiful vintage, this is an original Commodore 64 compatible controller, and when I opened this up, I just could not make myself destroy all the marvelous original electronics inside. It was too good. So what I decided on doing is, what if I plug something in the middle, and that is a really small microcontroller in here that just emulates the keyboard and intercepts what's coming over the COM port. I was like, oh, that is really cool. And I could, you know what? I don't really need all those buttons for my contraption. Like, I could just emulate keyboard. It works everywhere. It works in every device. And frankly, when I broke my hands, it became a really nice accessibility device. Yeah, and this is just one of the examples of how you can scale down an idea so it will work. It will bring you just as much joy, but it will be doable. You will finish it, right? Let's talk about ideas. When I have any stupid idea, I put it, no matter how stupid it is, I put it in a bucket. It's an unordered list of ideas of some sorts, right? Don't be afraid to reinvent the wheel. Even the idea seems stupid. Like, have you seen the first wheel? We as a humanity came such a long way to improve on the wheels. Every single idea you have is treasured. It can be turned into something beautiful, no matter how good or bad it is, right? And ideas can be mutated, combined with other ideas, and maybe something nice would come out of it, right? Anyway. So for all my ideas, I like to kind of grade them on those, like put them on those 3 pillars. Actually, just 2 pillars. Is it useful? Does it bring joy? These are my 2 criteria that I base on to grade and work on my ideas. Then I have this kind of a backlog where I grade all my ideas, and then if I have some spare time or I want to do something, I just pick something from the top and work on it. Like, you can add your own criteria, like speed of execution, time spent, whatever else. If you really want to work on something, just bump this joy level and just cheat your own system. You just gotta have some system, right? Anyway, let's talk about the funnel of ideas, as I call it. And it has the 3 filters. First on, ideas come from the top. Then the planning comes in. This is where you scale down, or this is where you decide, oh, I cannot not implement this dog API. I need to rethink about it. And then later on, you are starting it. This is another filter that you're probably realistically not going to work on more than half of what you plan to work on, right? And the biggest thing is shipping it. This is where the hardest part is, right? On this graph, the first point is where you're just starting out on whatever you're working on. The second point is the highest point you've ever experienced. This is where you develop your minimal viable product. This is where you prove that you can make it when you make something work. And now, after that, it just goes downhill. And this is the hardest part. This is where you have to hammer down all those edge cases. There are hundreds of thousands of them. And the secret is, to make it work, the secret is there is no secret. There is just hard work ahead of you. There's nothing you can do to escape it. There's a really nice article by Aaron Francis. It's called Finish Your Projects. It just talks about this in real good detail. Please read that. Right. Summing up, scale your ideas down, don't throw them away, and be ready to be disappointed at the end. Anyway, I was talking about projects like code and stuff, but for some people, hiking a big mountain might be your next project. For some people, it's starting a family or cooking. Maybe for some people, the project is drawing all the slides with broken hands or running a conference. And with that in mind, I thank you very much. Yep.